As a child, I loved to read issues of National Geographic, especially the ones that focused on ancient Egypt. I would sit and read them and dream about the day I would get to stand in front of those colossal pyramids. And by God's grace, I have been able to travel to Egypt and actually walk around inside those pyramids. It was a fantastic trip, and in the coming weeks, much more content will be coming out here on this channel. Now, you may be watching this and saying, but I'm not really into history, or I don't know much about history. I want to encourage you to subscribe to the channel anyway, because this is an area that is saturated with biblical history. And as a Christian, trying to face the future without understanding the past is like a tree trying to grow without roots. The history of Egypt is more than just interesting, it is vital to be grounded in our faith. Since the beginning of the world, human beings have had a fascination with ancient Egypt. We see this illustrated in Genesis 13 verse 10. Abraham and Lot were deciding what land each was going to have, and the Bible says, Lot lifted his eyes and saw all the plain of Jordan, that it was well watered everywhere, like the garden of the Lord, like the land of Egypt. Egypt is the biggest oasis in the most massive desert in the world, which allowed it to become one of the greatest empires history has ever seen. Greek historian Hecataeus called Egypt the gift of the Nile because of the fertile soil surrounded by desert on every side. It became a refuge for many people. They would go to Egypt whenever there was a famine. And this is exactly what happened in the Bible on several occasions. Throughout these narratives, we see the relationship between Egypt and God's people characterized by oppression, liberation, and divine intervention. Egypt serves as both a place of bondage and a backdrop for God's miraculous acts of deliverance. The story of Egypt and God's people in the Bible is central to understanding faith, obedience, and redemption. So stay tuned, because in the coming weeks, we're going to dive into God's amazing story about death and life.